Her words were prophetic. Why would you ever cross her? I was born with the second sight. While I was at the orphanage, I accidentally saved the Miller couple from a disaster, and they adopted me. At first, they treated me like their own daughter. That is, until they had a biological daughter of their own. On my 20th birthday, I ruined my stepsister Wendy's engagement plans, and she slapped me hard across the face. She said I was just jealous, that I didn't want her to marry well, and that's why I was talking nonsense. But I wasn't. The Millers knew about my ability to see people's fortunes and misfortunes before they even adopted me. But they didn't believe me this time. They insisted she marry the eldest son of the Quinn family, and told me I should marry the poor college kid I'd mentioned instead. What they didn't know was that the broke waiter I pointed out was the sole heir to the richest man in Seaport City. Claire, are you just trying to piss me off? Today is the day we're finalizing things with the Quinn family. What are you doing, trying to ruin everything? Do you want Mom and Dad to kick you jinx, out of this house right now? Claire, honey, it's not my place to say, but for years, we've treated you like our own daughter. Today is the most important day of Wendy's life. The last thing you should be doing is slandering the Quinn heir. Mom, Dad, Wendy, I'm really not making it up. I saw the Quinn heir's aura. It's dark, like a black cloud is hanging over him. He's clearly cursed with bad luck. That's enough, Claire, Mr. Miller cut me off, his voice tight with displeasure. The Quinns are a major family in this city. They're not people you can just badmouth. Wendy then turned to me, her teeth clenched. Claire, since you're so sure the Quinn heir is no good, then tell me, who in this whole city is good enough for me? Before I could answer, she shot me a vicious look, warning, name one man better than the Quinn heir, and I won't let Mom and Dad punish you today. How about that? I clutched my arm, where a wound had not yet scabbed over, and hesitated. For years I'd lived with the Millers. To outsiders, it looked like I had a life of luxury. But only I knew they never truly saw me as family. Otherwise, why had they never believed me, not once, all these years? Why was I always the one punished whenever Wendy maliciously slandered me? Wendy had hated me since we were kids. She called me a parasite, an unwanted stray, a jinx. She couldn't stand it when the Millers were kind to me. If she caught them, she would throw a fit until she got her way. At first, the Millers were mindful that I'd saved them and that my insights had helped their business secure many major deals, building it into what it is today. But an outsider is an outsider. Wendy was the daughter they had late in life, and it was obvious who was more important. So they always let Wendy have her way, even though they end up following my advice in the end. I hesitated, not because I couldn't think of a better man in the city, but because I didn't think Wendy deserved him. What, can't think of anyone? So you admit it. You were just talking trash because you don't want to see me happy, right? I wasn't. If you weren't, then say it. I'd love to see what kind of person you, the curse loner, can come up with. Seeing me waver, Mr. Miller narrowed his eyes, his expression turning sour. Claire, we're family. Is there something you can't say in front of us? That last sound was a clear warning. It wasn't the first time he'd done this over the years. Sometimes, when I was unwilling to use my sight to help him distinguish good from bad, he'd threaten me with the one thing I cared about. I was an orphan with no family. The orphanage was the only thing that mattered to me. After all, if the director, the woman who was like a mother to me, hadn't taken me in when I was little, I would have frozen to death on the street. Mr. Miller, I don't know what's happening. I just tried to look, but my second sight seems to be gone. I glanced toward the figure approaching in the hallway. It was strange. Just before, I had seen Leo's aura practically bursting with red light. It was a sign of immense wealth and fortune, but now, I couldn't see anything at all. Not his, not the Millers, not even Wendy's. Everything was blank. Mom, Dad, did you hear that? Claire said she's useless now. First, she says the Quinn heir isn't right for me, and now this. She's contradicting herself. She just doesn't want me to be happy. You have to kick this jinx out of the house right now. Mr. Miller silenced her, then turned to me with a gentle expression. Claire, just tell me everything you saw last. Dad believes you. The shrewd glint in his eyes was impossible to miss. Seeing him like this, Mrs. Miller suddenly recalled what a fortune teller had told them years ago. He had said that Claire's life and the Millers would take a major turn on Wendy's 20th birthday, and that they should make their decisions carefully. So, if Claire was now saying she couldn't see fortunes anymore, did that mean the turning point had arrived? Mom, Dad, why are you still asking her about this? Just kick her out. Wendy, be quiet for a minute. Let's hear what Claire has to say. Your father will handle this. You won't be wronged. Claire, didn't you ask me to save Sunshine House? Tell me, is it true you can't see fortunes anymore? Yes. All right then. Tell me everything you saw before it disappeared, and I'll buy the land Sunshine House is on and give it to you. How does that sound? Dad. Wendy protested, but Mrs. Miller pulled her back. Sunshine House was the orphanage. Recently, a developer had been trying to buy the property to build a large shopping mall. If the plan went through, the orphanage would be destroyed. The children would have nowhere to go, and there were no other shelters available right away. The director had no other choice but to call me and ask if I could help. The day I got the call, I went to beg Mr. Miller, but he said we'd have to wait until after Wendy's 20th birthday. So now he was saying that if I told him what I'd seen, he would buy the land for me? Without time to think through the implications, I pointed at Leo, who was now walking past him. If Wendy chooses to marry him, she will definitely. Smack. Wendy rushed over and slapped me. Claire, what is wrong with you? You point to some random waiter and tell me to marry him? You are a vicious, evil bitch. Wendy, be quiet. Mr. Miller's gaze followed the man who had just entered a private room. His earlier pleasant expression vanished, replaced by a cold stare directed at me. Continue. Mr. Miller, if I tell you the truth, will you really buy Sunshine House for me? As long as you tell the truth, I will keep my word. Okay, I'll talk. That man just now is a senior from my university. I've seen his fortune. He's a man of incredible luck. If Wendy marries him, she'll have more wealth and luxury than she could ever imagine. After I finished, I silently apologized to him in my head. If I hadn't been so desperate, I never would have revealed the truth. Are you telling the truth? Absolutely. The words had barely left my mouth when the sound of something shattering came from the room Leo had just entered. A man's voice followed, yelling angrily, "You're just a waiter. The fact that I'm even interested in you is a blessing. Who do you think you are, playing hard to get?" Our floor was reserved for the best private dining rooms in the restaurant. Anyone eating here was either rich or powerful. Mom, Dad, that loser is just a waiter. You can't fall for Claire's bullshit. I am not marrying him. Wendy, quiet down. I got a quick look at the kid. He's not bad looking. As for his family background, I'll have it checked out. With that, the three of them turned and left. I sighed. Just as I was about to leave, I heard sounds of a fight from the private room. I felt a pang of guilt, thinking that my words might have just ruined his entire life. Without another thought, I grabbed a fire extinguisher and rushed in. What are you standing there for? Run. I sprayed the men down completely, then grabbed Leo's hand and pulled him out of there without a second thought. Once we were somewhere safe, I let him go. Are you okay? Why did you save me? He asked instead, his deep, captivating eyes fixed on me. It was only then that I realized Leo was just as handsome as the rumors at school said. Before, my attention had always been drawn to the overwhelming red aura of luck around him. I'd never actually taken a good look at his face, only knowing that he was cold and aloof. Leo, actually we go to the same school. Leo raised an eyebrow, his tone flat. So, I saved you today. I hope that if I've done anything to wrong you, you can find it in your heart not to hold it against me. Something you've done to wrong me? Well, for reasons I can't explain, I had to let you make a small sacrifice. I'll be grateful to you on behalf of those kids for the rest of my life. Also, please be careful with your personal life from now on. Bye. I blurted it all out in one breath, not daring to look at him for another second before I turned and ran. Sir, should I bring her back? Leo waved his hand. First, deal with those scumbags from today. I don't want to see them in this city ever again. Yes, sir. Also, our people report that the Miller family is looking into your background. The Millers from Seaport City? Yes. They were meeting with the Quinn family at this restaurant today. It seems it was about an engagement, but someone messed it up. They're just a bunch of social climbers. Ignore them. That girl just now, forget it. We'll deal with it later. Understood, sir. The old master called earlier. He was asking when you plan on coming home. I kind of like things the way they are. We can talk about it later. But sir, if you don't go back, the old master, he's all alone. I'm afraid he can't hold on for much longer. Then we'll talk about it when he can't hold on anymore. My second sight had suddenly vanished, and the miller's attitude toward me grew noticeably colder. But I never planned on staying with them forever anyway. Once Wendy's engagement was settled, the Millers and I would be even. What I didn't expect was that Wendy was dead set on getting engaged to the Quinn heir, no matter what. This time, even Mr. Miller didn't believe me and made no effort to contact Leo. Could I really have been wrong? Was the red aura around Leo unrelated to his fortune? Thinking about it, he'd always been the same. If he was truly destined for greatness, in a situation like yesterday's, he should have at least had a guardian angel step in, if not turn the tables himself. Maybe this time. I really did see it wrong. You broke loser. I knew you and that stray Claire were up to no good. Tell me, how much did she pay you to have designs on me? You really don't know your place. I don't know what you're talking about. Move. Not a chance. I mean, you're not bad looking, but there's no way I'm marrying you. If you're really that desperate for cash, maybe you could entertain me for a bit. Leo recoiled from Wendy's touch in disgust. I'll say it one more time, he said coldly. Move. Most people at school knew better than to mess with him. He didn't care if you were a guy or a girl. If you pissed him off, he wouldn't hold back. But Wendy, remembering what her parents had said that morning, felt her contempt for him grow. You're just some poor student who has to work part-time to scrape by. What gives you the right to be so arrogant? I had just gotten off the bus when I saw Wendy and her clique blocking Leo at the school gate. The disappointed looks the Millers gave me this morning probably meant I was right. Leo was just a regular student. For some reason, the thought made me happy. Well, if it isn't my psychic sister. Come on over. The best man in Seaport City is right here. Aren't you going to say hello? Wendy started with the snide remarks as soon as she saw me. If you have a problem, take it up with me. What are you doing bothering him? I'm exposing the two of you for colluding to trick me. Claire, you know I'm my parents' only daughter. Yet you take advantage of their kindness and feed them lies. Are you trying to team up with an outsider to steal my family's fortune? Wendy, I told you the truth. Believe it or not. Don't you walk away. We're not finished until you explain yourselves. Get lost. Leo's patience had run out. When she tried to grab him again, he shoved her away. Wendy fell to the ground, her face flushing with anger. You just wait. I'm not going to let you get away with this. Leo walked on as if nothing had happened. I wanted to go up and apologize, but seeing his don't come near me vibe, I decided against it. Oof. Suddenly, I slammed into a wall of muscle. I looked up and met Leo's cold, deep eyes. Aren't you going to explain what just happened? Explain what? You mean Wendy? She's my adoptive parents' daughter, so she's kind of my sister. Don't take what she said to heart. Hey, what are you doing? I watched him lean in closer and closer. I tried to step back, but I was already cornered. The best man in Seaport City? What are you really after with all this? Well, I was kind of telling the truth, wasn't I? Look at you, you're handsome, you're in great shape, you get good grades. Aside from being antisocial, you're pretty much perfect, right? So you go around telling people I'm into her? You've got it all wrong. I just said you're the best man in the city, and that whoever marries you is guaranteed a lifetime of wealth and luxury. Who told you all this? Leo's hand suddenly clamped around my neck, his expression turning vicious. I've been able to read faces since I was a kid. That's it. Cross my heart. Leo shoved me away, his expression returning to normal. If I ever hear you spreading rumors about me again, you won't be so lucky. Hey, what's your problem? I did kind of save you yesterday. The man glared at me, and it sent a shiver down my spine. Here, take this. You lost your job yesterday. If you're looking for part-time work, try calling this number. What's this? It's a place I used to work. The owner is nice, and the pay is way better than working at that restaurant. I don't need it. Hey, don't be so ungrateful. Just take it. Consider this me owing you one for the trouble with Wendy. If you ever need help with anything, you can come find me. I said my piece and left. Leo looked at the worn-out business card in his hand. He was about to toss it in the trash but stopped and put it back in his pocket. Then he glanced toward an empty corner of the school building, gave the card a little wave, and walked away nonchalantly. Hey, have you guys heard? The Millers and the Quinns are getting engaged. Oh my God, I heard the Quinns are like the second richest family in the city. That's a true high society family. Marrying into the Quinn family is what every debutante dreams of. Wendy, you're just in time. Congratulations. You're going to be the future Mrs. Quinn. Yeah, Wendy, when you marry into that kind of money, don't forget about us. You all know already? Wendy smiled coyly. I'm still thinking it over. But Mr. Quinn's son seems very happy about it. Wendy, you're so beautiful and talented. The Quinn heir is probably just scared someone else will snatch you up. Don't say that. I'm worried my sister will get angry and try to ruin my engagement again. What? Claire would do that to you? She's just your family's adopted daughter. Don't tell me she's trying to take your place? Oh my God, I never thought Claire, who seems so quiet and low-key, could be so horrible behind the scenes. It's okay, you guys. Don't talk about my sister like that. She's just trying to secure her own future. What's wrong with that? The one thing I can't stand is a home-wrecking bitch. Wendy, don't be sad. Just wait and see how we deal with her. Wendy pretended to wipe away tears, but when no one was looking, a wicked smile curled on her lips. During gym class, a few of Wendy's followers cornered me in the equipment room. We heard you've been trying to sabotage Wendy's engagement while shamelessly hitting on Leo, our campus dreamboat. You have no shame. And you think it's so honorable to fight someone else's battles without even knowing the truth? Claire, I don't know how someone as thick-skinned as you can even exist. No wonder your real parents didn't want you. You deserve to be abandoned. Exactly. If it weren't for Wendy's parents, you'd have nothing. You ungrateful wolf. Ugh. If I'm an ungrateful wolf, then what does that make you? The little poodles licking Wendy's boots? How dare you call us dogs? Girls, let's teach her a lesson she won't forget. I smirked, kicked the equipment room door shut, and started stretching my knuckles. Sir, this is the complete file on the Miller family. Mississippi Claire does indeed have an unusual ability. The Miller family's rapid growth over the years is largely thanks to her. Leo glanced at the file in his hand and said coldly, You know what to do. Since they're so eager to ally with that pervert from the Quinn family, let's make it happen for them. Lynn, his assistant, couldn't help but shudder, silently saying a prayer for Wendy. The foolish woman had dared to publicly humiliate his boss. Her karma was coming. But sir, what about Claire? Should we step in and help her? Help her with what? Do you have too much free time? Lynn shook his head, feeling a little wronged. He was only thinking of the girl because she'd saved his boss a couple of times, even though his boss never actually needed saving. Before leaving, Leo reminded him, Tell Rick and the guys not to forget what's important tonight. Sir, those gang members are coming prepared tonight. But our people are already in place. We will definitely secure control over the Port District. Good. It's been a while since I've had a good workout. I think I'll go watch tonight. You can't, sir. If the old master finds out you're involved in something so dangerous, he'll have my hide. If you don't say anything and I don't say anything, who's going to know? But. No buts. You're my assistant. If you don't want to follow me, you can go back to the old master right now. I'm sorry, sir. Teacher, I'm reporting her. Claire beat up other students. No, teacher. We just fell down on our own. It has nothing to do with Claire. She didn't do anything. Mindy, you guys. Sorry, Wendy. We didn't mean to worry you. Nobody hit us. We just tripped and fell. Yeah, that's right. It's nothing, teacher. You can go back to what you were doing. I crossed my arms and watched Wendy and her little followers with a smile. The teacher, hearing their denials, didn't press the issue and just sent them to the nurse's office. Claire, you must be so proud of yourself now, right? Even Mindy and the others are afraid of you. You're a walking disaster. Anyone who gets near you has bad luck. Then you should probably stay away from me. Stick to your own plans and let's see who ends up with the bad luck in the end. You or me. We'll see. You won't get away with this. Anything you care about, whether it's people or things, I'll destroy it before I let you have it. Wendy, I have to ask. I've never done anything to hurt you. Why do you hate me so much? Isn't it because you've been deceitful from the start? Did you really think you could build a reputation for life with all that hocus pocus? In your dreams. That's the only reason? Isn't that enough? Everyone out there is saying our family's success is all thanks to you, the good luck charm. They're even saying I'm only able to marry into a powerful family like the Quins because I'm riding on your coattails. Don't you find that disgusting? It was Mom and Dad's kindness that rescued you from that rundown orphanage, gave you food and clothes, and let you live a life of wealth. Dad worked hard to grow the company into what it is today, and the same goes for the Quins. How did all of that become your accomplishment? I never said any of it was my accomplishment. You didn't have to say it. The way you walk around with that fake, holier-than-thou attitude makes me sick. I won't let you stay in this family. Just you wait. I watched Wendy's retreating back and shook my head. If I had known it would end like this, I would have preferred the Millers never adopted me. The orphanage may have been run down, but it was the only place I ever felt the warmth of a home. As for the Millers, I rarely went back unless Mr. Miller specifically asked me to, ever since I started earning my own money. After all, Wendy had already made it clear to them. It was either her or me in this house. And as an outsider, what right did I have to stay? I had moved out and rented my own place long ago. But even that wasn't enough for Wendy. She wouldn't be satisfied until the Millers disowned me and kicked me out for good. For the past few days, they'd asked me to come home to test whether my sight was truly gone. I figured they had their answer by now. My usefulness had probably run out. Before going back to my apartment, I decided to visit the orphanage to see the director and the kids. I never expected to run into a massive gang fight on the way. The intensity was like something out of a movie. It was terrifying. Not wanting to get caught in the crossfire, I was about to quietly slip away when I saw a familiar figure in the crowd. It was Leo. The leader, a guy with a cigar dangling from his mouth, had his arm slung around Leo's shoulder and was saying something to him. My mind went blank. What was a student like Leo doing here? Could he have been kidnapped by these people? I remembered the men he de-offended in the restaurant. Was this their revenge? Suddenly, the fight erupted. Men were swinging knives and clubs in a brutal brawl. Just watching made my heart pound. And Leo just stood there, as if he were frozen in fear, not moving an inch. Look out. The instant I saw a baseball bat swinging toward his head, my breath caught in my throat. Without thinking, I lunged forward. As the bat struck my head, the world spun, and I collapsed into Leo's arms. Whoa, what the hell was that? Rick was stunned by the sudden turn of events. But before he could gossip, he saw Leo scoop up the girl and run. Claire, are you okay? Through a haze, I heard someone calling my name. When I came to, I was looking up at Leo's strong jawline. He really was handsome from every angle. Ow, Leo, you can put me down now. I clutched my head as I spoke. Leo finally stopped and looked down at me. Are you trying to get yourself killed? His tone was harsh, his face dark enough to scare anyone. Never mind me. What about you? What are you doing in a place like this? Do you have any idea who those people are? You shouldn't be getting mixed up with them. What's it to you? Hey, why are you being like this? Never mind. Let's just go. If they come after us, we're dead. I held my head with one hand and grabbed Leo with the other, pulling him along. I didn't see the complicated look in his eyes behind me. I heard you're an orphan too, Leo. But even if no one in this world cares about us, we can't just throw our lives away. What did you say? I know it's hard to survive, but you have to believe that things will get better. I handed him the card I'd been planning to give the director. There's $2,000 on here. It's what I've saved up from my part-time jobs over the last few months. If you need the money, take it for now. Just promise me you'll stay away from people like that. Claire, didn't you say you can read faces? Are you pitying me? A man destined for great wealth? Leo, I just think that with your talent, even if things are tough right now, you'll definitely reach the pinnacle of success with your own skills. I didn't mean anything else by it. I just don't want you to go down the wrong path. Not bad, boss. That girl's got guts. In a dangerous situation like that, she actually rushed out to be the damsel saving the hero. Leo glanced at the newcomer. Is it handled? Of course. From now on, the Port District is all yours, boss. By the way, who was that girl? None of your business. Stop asking questions. On the way back, I stopped at a pharmacy to buy some first aid supplies. Even though someone had partially blocked the blow, that bat had still left a huge lump on my head. Wendy and the Quinn heirs' engagement was set. 3 days later, they would hold their engagement party at the Royal Court Hotel. Perhaps it was the festive mood, but Wendy was surprisingly nice to me these past few days. She even gave me a designer dress and at the engagement party, introduced me to numerous high society bigwigs. I thought she was being sincere. I didn't suspect a thing. Not until my body went limp and she had me dragged upstairs. Wendy, what did you do to me? It was her engagement party. I couldn't believe she still had the time to plot against me. What did I do? Claire, tonight is my engagement party, but it's also the day Dad has chosen a husband for you. Her smile was wild. Don't worry. That Mr. Lee, sure, he's a little old, but he knows how to spoil a woman. If you're with him, you'll be set for life. I don't want to. Let me go. That's not up to you. Our family has fed and clothed you for so many years. Now that you're useless, Mom and Dad can't bear to kick you out. This is a good arrangement for you. You should be thanking us. I tried to struggle, but I had no strength. My body felt like it was on fire. Wendy shoved me into a room and left. The room was dark. A few moments later, the door opened and someone walked in. In my drowsy state, I thought I smelled a familiar, cool scent. The heat in the room was cranked up high. My mouth was dry, and I desperately needed something to cool down. I fumbled around, crawling toward a cool object beside me. The last thing I remember was seeing a pair of deep eyes before I was swept away by a tidal wave of sensation. The next morning, I was woken up by a commotion. Wendy had burst in with the Millers and a crowd of reporters. I wasn't wearing any clothes, and my body was covered in telltale marks. Anyone could see what had happened last night. Wendy didn't give me a chance to explain. She immediately announced to everyone that I had sold my body for money. I was in complete shock, until a cold, deep voice cut through the noise from beside me. So damn noisy. I looked over in horror. The covers were pulled back, and Leo was lying next to me. Ah, what are you doing here? Wendy's eyes widened in disbelief. Where's Mr. Lee? What Mr. Lee? Wendy, what is going on here? Seeing the scene, Mr. Miller's eyes turned dark as he stared at me. How did you end up sleeping with him? Dad, I told you. Claire and Leo have been working together, trying to trick me into marrying him so they could control me and the entire Miller family. Smack. Before I could recover from my shock, Mr. Miller slapped me across the face. Mr. Miller, before you hit someone, shouldn't you get the facts straight? As Leo spoke, his gaze swept over the reporters, filled with menace. All of you get out. Leo, are you going to deny that you were the one who told Claire to say all those things to my parents? Who the hell are you that I'd waste my time plotting against you? You. That's enough. What's done is done. I don't want to make a bigger scene. Wendy is already engaged to the Quinn heir. As for you two, I don't see how you can get out of this without getting married. I bit my lip, my body trembling with rage. Mr. Miller, your daughter was the one who drugged me last night. Don't you have anything to say about that? Where's your proof? I don't have any. But she's the one who threw me in this room. You can check the security cameras. There's no point in discussing that now. Leo, right? While Claire is my adopted daughter, she is still a daughter of the Miller family. After what happened between you two last night, don't you think you owe me an explanation? I'll marry her, Leo said nonchalantly. As long as she's willing. That's perfect. Now everything works out. It's just like my sister predicted. You're marrying the best man in Seaport City. Aren't you happy? With just a few words, they planned to sweep the whole thing under the rug. I wanted to say more, but Leo grabbed my wrist, stopping me. I know you're innocent, but they only care about personal gain. Even if you had all the evidence in the world, it wouldn't matter to them. But why? Why should I be treated like this? If it wasn't you last night, it would have been that Mr. Lee Wendy mentioned. I never did anything to hurt them, but they destroyed me. Last night, I'm sorry. I was drugged too. How did you end up here last night? I suddenly remembered what Wendy had said, and it all clicked. Mr. Miller wanted the ready-made connection to a powerful family like the Quinns, but he was also afraid my prediction would come true. So, someone called me here. It was obviously a setup, targeting both of us. I'm sorry. What happened last night was my fault. I got you involved. Don't worry, we're both adults. I won't hold you responsible. But I need you to be responsible. What did you say? I felt like my ears were playing tricks on me. I watched as Leo leaned in close. The moment our eyes met, hazy, thrilling images from last night flooded my mind, making my face flush. Claire, do you want revenge? Under Leo's persuasive tone, I nodded. Yes. I could accept the Millers treating me badly, even kicking me out. But I would never forgive them for trying to destroy me like this. If you want revenge, then listen to me. But Leo, just dealing with the Miller family is hard enough, let alone now that they're allied with the Quinns. Didn't you already see that Quinn guy was bad news? Don't you trust your own sight? It's not that. What if I was wrong? Let's just forget it. In this city, the only ones who can go up against the Quinns are the city's #1 family. We can't afford to mess with them. Don't worry. You just focus on your studies. Leave the rest to me. For some reason at that moment, Leo seemed to radiate a powerful, convincing light. Unfortunately, the reality was that both of us were just pawns for Mr. Miller to manipulate. A few days later, as the Quinn family's troubles began, the Millers' karma finally arrived, late but certain. Due to a political scandal and several lawsuits, even if the Quinn family managed to survive, they would be skinned alive. What was even more interesting was that the Quinns had been so eager to marry into the Miller family, because they planned to use them to launder money. All the engagement gifts and company shares Quinn had given Wendy were from illegal fundraising. Quinn was also exposed for secretly using his power to coerce underage girls into prostitution, trafficking them to elites at various levels for profit. He also had his own sick fetishes, having tortured several innocent young men and women to death, with multiple murders on his hands. I heard that the day after the engagement party, Wendy went missing. After the Quinn scandal broke, the police found her in the basement of the Quinn family's mountain villa. She had been tortured to the point of a complete mental breakdown. The explosive news caused a massive sensation throughout the city. Mr. Miller was summoned by the police for questioning. He denied everything, claiming he was also a victim. While he was in custody, he sent someone to contact me, saying he wanted to see me. I went and I took the opportunity to tell him about the state of his family. Claire, tell me that Leo, is he really destined for great wealth and fortune? Even at a time like this, all he could think about was his own interests. I laughed. Mr. Miller, didn't I tell you a long time ago that the Quinns were bad news? You didn't believe me then. Why are you asking me now? You don't understand. Instead of betting on an uncertain future, who could refuse the immense fortune the Quinns offered? And now you're paying the price. No, it's not too late. You helped the Miller family get to where it is today. Help me one more time. Get Leo and Wendy together, please? The Miller Group stock has plummeted. My only hope now is to trust your final prediction and have Wendy hold on to Leo for dear life. After you plotted against me and Leo, do you really think he would ever get together with Wendy? That's why I need your help. And what makes you think I would ever help you again? Claire, don't you forget, the deed to Sunshine House is still in my hands. If you don't want to see it destroyed, you'd better do as I say. Just for Sunshine House? That's what you've been using to threaten her. Leo's cold voice cut in. I turned to see him striding in with a group of people, his presence overwhelming. Leo. Mr. Miller's eyes narrowed as he took in the scene. Even a fool could see that the Leo standing here today was not someone to be trifled with. Mr. Miller, these are the bankruptcy liquidation papers for the Miller Group. Sign them. What? Mr. Miller looked like he'd seen a ghost as he took the contract. After a moment, he shouted in disbelief, "The Nangong family. What's your relationship with the Nangong family of the Zenith Group? Our young master is the sole heir of the Zenith Group, you blind fool. What? You're the heir to the richest family in the city, the Nangongs? Impossible. That's impossible. I had you investigated. You're just a poor kid. How could you be the heir to the city's wealthiest family? Can't a man take his mother's surname? Cut the crap. Are you going to sign this or not?" You should know, you're not the first person to scheme against our master. If you don't want to die a horrible death, sign it now. You're leaving me with pennies after everything my family has. I won't sign. If you don't sign, you won't even get those pennies. The only reason you have anything left at all is out of our master's respect for Mississippi Claire. Otherwise, you would have ended up right back where you were when you first adopted her. You want to test that? No, Leo, I mean Mr. Pay. Please, for Claire's sake, spare the Miller family. Claire, help me. Beg him to stop, please. Mr. Miller, the day you let Wendy destroy me, our ties were completely severed. Your business with Leo has nothing to do with me. I only came today to tell you that from now on, you have no power over me. Whatever happens to you, don't ever come looking for me again. No, Claire, I was wrong. Please save the Millers. Don't go. Walking out of the police station, it felt as if all the dark clouds had finally scattered with the wind. Claire, can we talk? Leo chased after me and blocked my path. I pushed past him. I don't think we have anything to talk about. I'm allergic to high society. Leo caught up to me again, a smile playing on his lips. What a coincidence. Me too. Seeing him like this, I felt a surge of anger, and my face went cold. Mr. Pay, you truly live up to your reputation as a top student. You're allergic to high society, yet you manage to play the city's elite like a fiddle. I admit I'm no match for you people. So in the future, when you play your games, leave me out of it. Lynn walked over. Sir, why don't you tell Mississippi Claire she was never part of your plan? Should I bring her back for you? Leo watched her walk away, a smile playing on his lips. Some things are more interesting if she discovers them herself. She can't escape from me. The end.